This is The Green Room.
Welcome to another episode of The Green Room. Brought to you by your host, Mr. Gemini.
Philly D.
Lickety clacker, fact checker, Miss JD.
She's got moxie. And our guests in the house as well. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. If you'd, introduce yourself, shameless plug. Tell the people who you are, where to find you, how awesome you are, whatever else.
I am all of the above. Hi, everyone. I am Marquita, hailing from Delaware. Originally from Philadelphia, though. I'm from Philly.
Okay.
Born and raised, but I'm representing Delaware tonight.
I mean, that is the home of tax-free shopping.
It is.
You know, my
I love
parents
it.
drive to Delaware just for the tax-free shopping.
It makes a
You're
difference.
supposed to claim that.
Oh my God.
It makes a difference.
Redacted. I don't know what my parents' shopping habits are at all. Haven't even seen my parents in years. Thank you.
It's a big deal for us in Delaware, especially if you're trying to do a 4 for $4 at Wendy's. It's only $4. It's only $4.
See, that was dope. I love that. Like when you're doing the 4 for 4, it's $4. We're done.
Not even the dollar store can commit to that.
Right.
I know they're like dollar store-ish.
$1.25 now, I think.
No, I do. I think most of them are like under fives. Like they're all considered like under fives.
Well, Five Below is now 5, 10, 15.
Is that like 3 doors down is now 5 doors down? Wait, they changed their name? Wait, no, they're 2 more. Never mind. Yeah, but that's not the same thing.
You said twice removed, right? It's okay.
I thought you said you were all good, Spider. If you can't tell, we love doing movie quotes, especially we're like chilling in the green room and just kind of having fun and relaxing. It's like,
Somebody got a problem? You got a nickel?
so we've been working on a puppet show on the side and a few other things like production company wise. And we had some friends in and we started from some reason just like snowballing ideas about a T-Rex. And it's like the T-Rex is always just upset because it's like all they ever do is like make fun of the fact that he has like short arms. He's like, what else? Come on. He's like, I got a big jaw. He's like, I can eat you from here. And it's like nobody says anything. He's just like, it's my hands.
This is all he has to work with.
Pretty much. Which I mean, that's all I always said. Like T-Rex is always just upset because he's like, I can't even wipe my own butt.
It was
like,
the voice he was using.
Oh my God.
And I, like, apparently we pulled the name out. Like, he didn't even...
Yes. Well, no, I think our buddy Zach misheard him and called him. He's like, did you just call him Brian? Like out of nowhere, he just called the T-Rex Brian, which honestly, a T-Rex named Brian is kind of hilarious. Like,
I can see it.
I want to meet Brian the T-Rex. Like that would be, I
can see it.
But he starts doing this voice and I'm like, I just see this dude in like a fedora with
Right,
like
real chill.
with like a vest and jacket combo,
Full tie.
you know.
just, look, cause he can't, you
Little small
can't,
one,
like,
right.
he's
Small one right here.
you only got so much that you can do.
As a matter of fact, it's half clipped on.
He's just like, oh my God. Yeah, but we literally went on like, I don't know, like a 10 or 15 minute tangent of like, all right, so how do they eat? Like, how's he gonna like, and he's like, all of a sudden it's like, oh, he's got little grabby arms, but the grabby arms only as long as his grabby arm. So it's only like double length. So he still can't reach stuff. He's like, cause he's got like TX, like grabby.
We had him pissed off and he like tried to charge through the door, but like he kicked the door in and it just slammed against.
Yeah, but he can't get in the door.
But he can't
because
get
it's
in?
Too big. So he's just
That's
like,
too big.
just banging his head into the door. And he's like, I can't even come in the house now. I'm stuck with these little arms. Nobody wants me. Oh yeah, but
Brian has problems.
well, I mean, in Brian's defense,
And a pocket watch.
and a pocket watch, and nickels apparently. But in our defense, we started a drinking game, and all 4 of us decided to play it for the green room before we actually started the show. And then Brian was
what
born.
happened.
Well, because you can
what
see
happens.
yourself, dude. That's my T-Rex cup that my kid gave me. So it's like.
Oh.
He started with like, hey, what's your T-Rex? And I'm just like, I don't want it. And then we started making noises, and then we're doing movie quotes, and it was.
Yeah, it started with the T-Rex voice. Yeah, that.
Then we went to death metal and a little bit.
It was a weird. Yeah, you'd have to be there.
It was an interesting time.
Sometimes I don't even know how it happens, and I'm here.
Do you know?
Like, how did we get here?
We could legit like have a full recording, and then we get to a point where now, because it's like a month out or something, by the time we get back to that and it's like ready to come out, it's just like, I don't remember that show at all. And then you start listening to it, you're like, oh my God. And you literally remember all of
Right.
it. But
Right.
after not doing it, just, so you said yourself you used to podcast yourself, or you were just like a part of podcasting?
Alcohol affects the
No, I
memory.
used to
It does.
podcast before podcasts became a thing.
Dude,
So I feel like podcasts really hit like 2018.
Yeah, pre-pandemic, it really started popping, and then that happened, and like, boom.
That's when I stopped in 2018. So I'm kind of sad because then I get all the questions like, well, do you still have a podcast? But it was more like an internet radio station at that point. I started with the podcast.
Okay.
And then I ended up having 24 shows by the time I closed in 2018. So
that's awesome.
I miss it. I've interviewed Dionne Warwick.
What?
Big Daddy Kane.
Big Daddy Kane. Oh my God, yes.
Anybody on reality TV.
Dude, that's dope.
I miss it, but it just was, I don't know, it was a little bit too much. It was overwhelming.
Dude, so we do all of our work, which means I do all the editing, video, audio, like so. That takes time.
Yeah,
it really does. But like, I mean, so we think of ourselves more as like a talk show. Because, to me, like a podcast is just like, we're a bunch of people sitting in a room talking to microphones. It's like, well, okay, cool. But, we come in, there's a little bit more of like a structure or an idea or a point to it. It's not just like a certain group of like, we're just going to talk about sports today. It's like, so, I mean, to me that we kind of stepped away from the podcast idea. And like, I think of us more as like a talk show.
Right.
Because that's why I said we don't do interviews. We have conversations.
I love it.
I don't like and that was all from that one video I was watching. It was like a very uncomfortable interview where the kid was like just jumping on to the next question. And it's like, there's no heart in the conversation.
Right.
I was like, that's what I don't want it to be, an interview. I don't want it to be like, if I think there's some stuff that's interesting that I want to ask ahead of time, I might write it down, but it's not like I have a list of questions. Like I want to be more
conversational.
And that's the funny thing. So like while we're not doing interviews, we still do our research. So we still check up on our people. We still look into them and find out, because we're looking more we want to associate with people that are doing the same as us. Support your community. Let's be educational, but at the same time, let's have some fun.
Yeah.
So I know we literally look for people like that. And then when we do, especially when they're like really dope community members that are out there trying to like do real good. That's awesome. Yeah, we love that. And
I'm all for it.
We get some amazing conversations. Yeah, we've had a couple like B-list actors, local talent, musicians, artists. Like we get a pretty wide selection, but
I think I'd rather deal with the B-list actors all day long than the A-listers, but that's just
we don't have a comparison on that.
No, we don't, but
I mean, I've met some. We've never had them on the show,
but it's a lot when you start getting into that, and then
I can see,
all these people, and you start getting to a certain level and you realize that these people are charging you just to hang out for an hour.
You pretty much,
so.
Oh, you want to come on my show?
Like it's
my money. I don't. So one of our guys, him and I were having this really nice conversation. He's like, bro, I'm so excited for the day where all of a sudden somebody's like, I'm $500 to like bump me up next. And it's like, bro, it's not going to happen. I'm like, and I'm not saying that somebody's not going to do that to me. I'm just going to look at him and be like, no.
Right.
No, that's you're next when you're supposed to be next.
Right.
We go in an order because we take, and it's just, but everybody gets that same consideration. But that's why we say like conversation. We're not trying to have, some sort of like rhetoric, propaganda, agenda. We're not trying to come at you as it is what it is. It's going to be what it's going to be. And I mean, because the way we look at it is that, that's what we're all supposed to be doing. Like we're all supposed to be having conversations. We're not, even especially when it comes to stuff like religion or politics, which we don't really talk about too much other than the ideas of it. Yeah. It's all good. It's green room.
I'm looking for something to throw. So I can tell my daughter, Aaliyah.
No, it's all good. It's like background noise.
Well, yeah, no, because that's literally what happened is we had our buddies over. So it's like him and me and two of our guys and then, JD and the ladies, two of them. And we can't hear them while we're running. I mean, they're in the headphones a little bit, but we're so focused on what we got going on. I come back in later and start editing. And all of a sudden I start hearing a little bit and you can't hear what they're saying, but you can hear them and it made it funny. They all hopped up on that froggy sodas. What's going on over there?
Right.
They're still looking for something to throw.
Soda's good.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh.
You're at a 7 right now. I need you at like a 2.
So you were saying like internet radio station, because that's kind of, so we do our radio shows on there. I'm also on-air DJ and stuff, so I get the whole internet radio station kind of thing. I mean, did you go into it to do that, or were you just like, it was there and you became a part of it? I'm like, I mean...
Yeah, so how I actually got into it, I was getting my master's degree. I was in Turkey, so I studied overseas in Turkey. We had a blended group, and just because there was another young girl that I could identify with that was a minority, that we were probably maybe secluded. I consider myself the underdog because I was working for the police department, but everybody was like already in a career in corporate America, so they had more knowledge. I felt like they were able to apply it where I had to study more from the outside in. So the girl was telling me how she knew somebody back home that wanted to do a podcast in his living room called Ladies First. And we were going to talk about female issues. So I says, okay, well, I didn't even know what a podcast was, but I said, it sounds good. Sounds like something that I would be interested in. So when we got back to the States, we did the format of Ladies First. However, it was so unstructured and unformatted. I just couldn't really see myself committing to it. So I said, well, if I did this, what would I want to do? So my message was to give a platform for individuals that were entrepreneurs. I wanted to disrupt the fact that at this particular time, any child, I have 7 of them. So I didn't like that my kids were thinking that you had to be a celebrity in order to be successful, because that's the only thing that was on the radio, right? A celebrity or a basketball player. So they think that in order to be that, you had to be successful. But growing up, my dad was like, well, the doctors and the lawyers and the teachers, they're successful too. So I wanted to give a platform to individuals, small business owners, so that they had a voice to be seen and heard and know that they can be successful as well, to sort of kind of like reshape the way our youth are equating success with.
You're right.
So I started it, and it was called The Daily Grind. Then it turned into Daily Grind Radio, 24 shows, because people just had a need. And one of the things that I did is I wasn't able to accommodate 2 of the same shows. So if you had a show that you were pitching, you had a 2-hour slot, but it had to be on a particular topic that no other show had. So I had 24 completely different shows.
Oh, okay. I get that. Yeah. Well, see, and that's like, so we get our people, they like hit us up. They're like, oh, what should we prep for? What kind of questions are you going to throw at us? We're like, no. The only prep we do is like research. We find out who you are and what you're into. And then it's like, now we're intrigued. Once we get in the room, it's like, all right, so I read this about you. Like,
You're like, so what are you going to ask? We're like, I can't tell you that.
I don't know. I don't know until that
I can't say. No.
I'm ready for just about everything. I got years of experience. I've had years of failed just about everything. Businesses, marriages, relationships. So I speak from a lot. When I do my speaking, I speak from a lot. I have a lot of knowledge to share. And at any given point, if I can help someone not do what I did or go through what I went through,
don't go there.
By all means, let me help you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's so and this is why we got JD, because she's our fact checker, so she keeps us, 1 corralled but 2 on point, because she'll just be like, I'm going to call BS on this. But it's one of those things where, we can have those more candid conversations and just kind of, let ideas happen and see what it comes from with it. You know, it's, we really are. It's more of almost like a snowballing, pitch for trying to do advertisement or something. It's like, hey, let's get a massive collab on this and bang a bunch of stuff out. Like, what do we got? Cool. I like the internet radio station idea, because the one I'm with, DIM, is we are 100% nonprofit. It is all free. There is no commercials. Like, it is either music or talk radio. And most of it, we have, I think at this point, besides me, is like another 6 or 7, hosts, DJs, blah, blah, blah. And, we play everything, like jazz, swing, R&B. I play, my music shows, I try to touch on everything other than rap. I won't play rap on my station.
Not allowed.
Well, 1, I'm not allowed to play rap, but 2, I'm not a huge fan of rap. So,
that's not the hip hop. It's not the same.
I want hip hop.
It's not the same thing.
I mean, I'm not against rap. I mean, I love plenty of rap artists, but I'm more of like a hip hop kid because I mean that's what I grew up with. You know, I mean, you're all of that. You know, the big thing that I always love about hip hop is it's about uniting communities, which means that you're supporting your community, you're educating, you're uplifting. It's all positivity.
Right.
So I love hip hop.
Right.
I mean, but sometimes well, I want a little rap music, so I just get a little gritty, turn it up, like feel the bass, like it's nice, but.
I think that's the only thing rap music is good for. 808s, a good hi-hat. A good hi-hat.
That show, hold on.
Couple hi-hats in it,
Y'all, that's...
Good bass.
Well, we're old school bass heads from like way back in the day.
It was like...
Oh, not mine. Mine was so much louder than that.
I can't afford Dynamat.
Yeah.
These house speakers. I did a crossover.
But yeah, no, it's as like a music engineer producer kind of thing. Like you're right. I mean, you get a very simplified. I mean, in 808s. I mean, just 808s are just I don't know. I like bass again,
too.
But a little bit of that, and then it's just like here you go.
You have an advantage as an engineer, what I didn't have, which is part of why I just was so over it. So one of the things is you have to protect your equipment. So when everybody has a show, you do a little bit of training, but they're never going to get it. So I was tired of the calls. This broke. No one's going to admit,
who touched what last?
Yeah, you were the last show. This is not working for this person. You know what I mean? And you're responsible. So either you're going to be there all day. You know what I mean? It's just like it became to be a lot, but maybe from an engineering perspective, you're probably a little bit more better because you can, you have to know that stuff.
Brothers came over there, 40s and blunts, kid. I don't know. You just came up missing.
Yo,
where my killer tape at?
Yo, why is that my problem? Yeah, no,
I think that was the biggest part of it.
Yeah, I mean, and because I said to you earlier off mic is I started out as like an old school AV nerd. Like, I mean, setting stuff up, wiring things, plugging in speakers. Like, I learned the old school of like everything gets plugged in this way, where you had to look at the back of everything and make sure it's routed the right direction. All right, this is an in, that's an out, this is okay, and you had to know all that stuff. And in doing that, you kind of get to learn, like, okay, I could do this here, and that goes over here, and wait, dude, you can plug this into that, and it's just like, oh man,
all the ins and outs, huh?
But this is why, and I just remembered this today. I was in the car, and Beastie Boys' Paul Revere pops on, and the story goes to get that backwards beat where it's like dum, 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 and you can hear it like literally going backwards. Was all three of them were sitting around in the studio just getting like baked out of their minds, and then MCA's like, "What if we recorded a beat on the tape and then flipped it over? What would happen?" They're like, "I don't know." So they literally just did that, made a beat, recorded it, and then flipped it over. And they're just like, "Holy crap, it goes backwards." And then it's like, "Yo, that's
that was like Ogre's voice though. What if
CAT? Yeah, but that's literally it. Like, I mean, but this is why I love art, because it's just an expression.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't care if it's paint, music, your spoken word. Like, dude, you could be performance art by the way you dance, how you paint yourself or what costume you're like. Anytime you're literally giving of yourself from the inside out, like that's art.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful. But
yeah, absolutely.
You win so much more points just for an original idea like that, though.
Tell me, man.
You know what I mean? Like when somebody steps out and does something that you've never heard before, and then it just captivates you.
Right. Right.
And every artist that's worth their salt has had a moment like that in their career where it's just like, wow.
Right. And you can tell the ones that are doing it.
Nas was it Reverse? The one I always reference?
Yes.
Dude,
that track is insane.
I had to listen to it the first time and I was like, no, I got to hear that again.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Where he's literally telling you the story backwards to the point where I think the final words is like, bang, the bullet goes back into my gun. And it's just like, what the hell? He's literally telling you an entire story back.
He tells you the entire story in verse.
It's almost like Quentin Tarantino, but with like lyrics. It's just like, dude, but that's dope. That's a really awesome expression.
Somebody does something like that. Like they matrixed it, like they found another angle that nobody's tried before. And it's like, wow, that really worked.
Yeah. Dude, that is so good. Is this a new batch?
No, it's the same. Actually, there's only like 2 left, I
So
think.
it's just been mellowing a little bit. That's a lot nicer, bro. It's actually a little bit more like floral. Like it pops out a little bit
It
more.
is a bit floral, yeah.
Yeah, but it's good. Yeah, we're sitting at beer speak. His palates and taste
Floral.
buds and
Start talking headspace and
There's nothing good like the
all kinds of-
strawberry lemonade.
dude,
I
It
haven't
is
tried that.
good. I don't drink soda anymore, but it's delicious.
see. I was telling
So he's
Sadie,
like, I don't drink soda,
I'm
but
like, I don't like pink lemonade. I don't like soda. But man, do I like this pink lemonade soda? Like, I can't stop not drinking it.
See, and I am not a lemonade fan either. It is like my last choice of anything. But
One of my favorites. God, love me some lemonade. Purple
it's
stuff.
a little too hot for me.
Hot.
it's too tight.
If you can't
Children.
if you can't tell, she's wicked northeastern. She's got a bit of an accent on her.
Wicked hardcore.
Wicked hardcore accent. She's got a bit of a wicked hardcore accent on her.
I was born with one for a while.
So you
I
got
had
dropped
it,
on your head
and
30th
the minute I
time.
moved here, I dropped it. Yes, when I fell on my head. That's
Just dropped it and left it behind.
Now I just speak in
I win.
That's one of his running jokes. Is he's had like 66 concussions his entire life, starting at the age of like 3 or something.
3. Yeah, I think about 3.
Yeah. But he's like, I can't really remember.
Yeah,
But,
the daycare or whatever, they used to use the 55-gallon drums for trash cans. And I decided it was fun to play in one. And like me and another kid went in there. Yeah. And well, the kid fell on me and my head bounced twice. Yeah, I was about 3 years old. About 3.
I'm getting this image of, because a 55 gallon, I mean, that's big. And you're like a little 3-year-old. It's like, I mean,
Why
did
do
you
I
get like,
feel like I've never heard that one yet?
Oh my God.
I hit my head a lot.
what the story? No, you've heard
That
this.
story, out of all the concussion stories, I
was the first
have
one.
not heard this one yet.
That was the one that started all
Then
of
you're not
this.
remembering. You were a part of all of those conversations. I have it on tape. It is on record. There is undeniable
And
evidence.
I like that I can stand behind that as an excuse. When I just totally lose my shit or, forget everything. I'm like I got to write it down. I'm sorry.
66666.
I get in trouble all the time. My wife hates my memory.
You love it though. Sorry, I forgot. It's
But I'll remember other things. So it's like, well, why do you remember those things? And,
well, to me, it's like the. Did you ever see the movie Waiting with Ryan Reynolds, where it's like the restaurant and stuff?
I have.
There's the one scene where Ryan Reynolds sits down with like the super old guy, and he's like, what's the bummer about being old? Right. Or he's like, what's the cool thing about being old? He's like, well, people just think that if I'm like giving them the finger or I'm swearing or like I flash a little kid, they're just like, oh, he's senile. And he's like, so what's the drawback? He's like, well, sometimes I
just
actually give little kids the finger, and like it's just like, and I don't know. But it's like, well,
I don't know any better.
you don't remember. You're like, well, what'd you do yesterday? But like, who knows?
Is it always that you don't know any better? Does it matter?
Fair to me.
Who's counting?
50-50. Go either way.
I lie to myself. You think I'm going to tell you the truth?
So what got you to pull back off of doing the show? I mean, did you just kind of like get to the point where you're like, I'm batting 1,000 and I'm out? Mic dropped and everything, or?
I think I just wanted to pursue another direction at that point. I think I was also a little disgruntled that I was really knocking at the door of reality TV, and then I had a falling out with the reality star and got banned. So I just was like,
got banned, Joel. I want to hear this story.
disgruntled.
How did you get banned from reality TV? Oh my God, I want to know how to do
I got
this.
Reality TV is anything
banned
but.
That's what I'm saying.
for using my voice. I don't really think that I did anything
So
wrong.
you weren't following the rules.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
pretty much what it
Yeah.
was. But
Yeah.
we were on like a phone basis where, we have each other's phone numbers.
Well,
And so as media, when you go out to events, we don't wait in line. Right. So after like the 20th event and I show up and they're like, oh, you got to get in line. I'm like, no, go get her from the back. She knows me.
yeah, it's not
And
happening.
he comes
bro.
back like, no, she said you got to get to the back of the line.
I said, then I'm leaving.
Right. But I waited, but it was like 2 hours. And
No.
it's at this point, I didn't think that I needed to be in line. So I got there at a time where I thought I was walking in. So I'm like number 99 in line and was waiting for 2 to 4 hours. So when my show came, I just reported that. She didn't like that.
Oh, I'm sorry. The truth hurts. Oh,
yeah, that's what had nothing to do with me. I just reported that I was out there in heels for 2 hours.
Do you think it would have gone different if you'd showed up and been like one of the first 5 in line, or?
No, I think that it was a result of a bad day that she had.
Yeah, you want.
And I don't know. I just fell in on that day. I think that whatever was going on with the event was already happening bad, which is why I couldn't get back in there. And so maybe it just was bad overall, and me reporting what I did. Next thing I know, I'm blocked on social media.
Dude.
No one's responding to my emails. I can't get through on the phone. So
we've had our fair share of Hollywood experiences where we're just like, yeah. That's not how we roll.
Before we even got there. Like,
I know we're not even like,
we're not even there. And it's like, really?
But we had Jeremy Miller, which was Ben Seaver from Growing Pains.
So down to earth, man.
Okay.
He's got such a smile. I just want to hug his smile. He's just.
But I mean, you can feel it though. I mean, like
his
like
heart
he's
is
real
like,
people, you know.
Yeah, we've had Larry Hankin, which was Mr. Heckles on Friends. He was Old Joe on Breaking Bad. I mean, he was in Armed and Dangerous with John Candy and Eugene Levy and Meg Ryan.
He's got a list of things.
Arnold from Billy Madison.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, he was on Laverne and Shirley with Penny Marshall and freaking dumped her on a couch. And her mother yelled at her.
That girl.
That's my sister.
I know. Yeah, I mean, he just did the show Barry with Bill Hader. And he's like, dude, I don't even act anymore. And he's like, Bill Hader's people called me up. They're like, yo, Bill Hader wants you to come in. He's like, I'll be in for Bill Hader. Yeah, you got that, buddy. And because his entire
that was a funny
career,
story.
yeah, because his entire career, he never came in trying to do like research. It's just like, oh, this is my character. Cool. All right, this is my character. And he actually he would
he never created. He said he never created a backstory before.
Nothing.
Never did any work.
It's because like improv is like, all right, you're a doctor. It's like, well, no. What? It's like, okay, you're a foot doctor from New York. Boom, cool, done. And you're now a foot doctor from New York. There's no backstory. It's just like, boom, that's all I need.
No, he would add in all the details. Divorced twice, 3 kids, you know?
And that's so, yeah, he goes
like he took it to the extreme.
He goes to do Bill Hader's show and he's like, man, I did backstory and like I put into this. And he's like, and it's just like.
All because I didn't want to fail for Bill Hader.
He's like, it's Bill Hader. I can't let Bill Hader down. Right.
But that speaks to a level of commitment. That's what you have to do to succeed.
Well,
and he looks at it like a business transaction, which is so funny because it's like.
Well, other than the Bill Hader experience. Like everything else, he's just like, I'm an actor. I show up. He's like, I memorize lines. Here's my job. He's like, I kind of fell into it. I used to be a comedian. And it's just like, here I am on screen. Now all of a sudden it's like, it's Bill Hader. He's like, it's Bill Hader. But that was the funny thing about the story though, was like, he was playing the whole thing off from the beginning. Cause he was like, I just got to get in on this part. And they're like, can you speak with a Russian accent? And he's like, of course. Yeah, I got all day.
Well, you know, we're gonna make sure that we have
a coach and
like a voice coach on set to help you out with the accent. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, if you think it's necessary.
If you're sure, if that's what you guys want.
And then apparently he had a flop sweat when he realized that person wasn't on set and wasn't going to be there on time. And he was like, oh shit, what do I do?
No, it did not show. Not so much not a show, just didn't have him.
So he was like super concernicus that he was going to be way off on his.
Oh, I know.
But the thing is, like, he did, because we ended up watching it after we had that conversation.
Yeah, we did.
And I was like, I wasn't even concerned about, even though I was looking for the accent, he was so in character that it like, the
accent
you couldn't even remember what you were looking for. It's he's got whatever that guy is. He's got it.
Yeah, because I mean, he's going into this great detail about having the accent, having the access code, all this that. And he's just like, oh my god, he's like freaking out. And then so we're like, oh, dude, we got to see how horrible this accent is. Like, dude, you don't know what it is. You don't have a code. Like, we got to see this just for the witness.
My kids. Yeah.
And we start watching it, and like within 15 to 20 seconds of the scene, you could care less what his accent is. You're so absorbed into the entire scene that you're just like, Oh my God. And knowing the backstory of how he got to there and why he was doing what he was doing and what he had to do to like mentally prepare for it, we're just like, I mean, we're like, oh my God. Oh
He's
my
like
God.
ready to die.
We know, it's coming. We're still like, oh my God, what's he going to do? Like, holy.
This
like,
old Russian gangster, and he's just ready to die. Like,
yeah, pretty much. Like,
That's so amazing.
he got lost in the role. I mean, he was the,
but the funniest thing about it, right, at the end of it was that he was so concerned that nobody said anything that
oh yeah.
that he was like, everybody else is getting direction, and he comes back and he goes, you know, after the take and everything. And,
no, it's not even after the take. He's been cleared. Everybody applauds. Like,
yeah, it's done.
You know, film's in the can. You're wrapped. Get out of here. And you know, he's like passes Bill Hader on the by and by, and he's just like, hey, Bill, can I ask you something? He's like, yeah, of course. What's up, Larry? He's like, hey, how come you didn't direct me? He's like, I mean, you were helping, you were giving direction to everybody else. And you didn't even talk to me. Like, dude, it wasn't even that he just literally didn't even talk to him. He's giving everybody else. And he's just like, well, I needed the help. I could have used the help. And he's like, well, Larry, I mean, we didn't write the part that way. And Larry's like, oh shit. He's like, but you know, me and my guy, my partner and I, like, we're looking at it, we're like, what, you know, why we didn't do it this way? Like, we loved it. Like, we thought it was great and it worked. So yeah,
I didn't know what to say.
We didn't know what to do. We just decided to let him do
let
his
him go.
thing. Like, well, cause see, one of my favorite stories from him was he was the dog catcher in Annie. So he's on, and this is very much like his mentality of like how he sells it. And again, without doing a backstory or anything else, he goes to wardrobe, and you know, in wardrobe, they hand him like a brand new, fresh dog catcher's uniform.
Crisp.
Yeah, like,
you know, the whites are white.
Straight from the car cleaners. Like, dude, it's hanging on a hanger. Dude, it's just pristine. And he's like, I'm not wearing that. And wardrobe's like, you have to. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm
going to need to get the director.
And he's like, well, you have to do it. He's like, I'm not going. He's like, fine, I'm going to take it to the director. He's like, cool, let's take it to the director. So they go to the director. The director's like, Larry, what's up? Why don't you want to wear? He's like, I'm a dog catcher. But this thing is perfect. It's fresh. This isn't what a dog catcher wears. This thing should be worn and tattered and stained. And
right.
So he literally takes it, and they're out in Hollywood, and it had just kind of rained a little bit, you know, the night before. That day, and like he takes it and just like rubs it into a puddle and like flips it and then lets it dry out overnight, and then comes in the next day and it's just all shitty, and he's just like, good to go. Now I'm a dog catcher. And I mean, and this is like a small bit part, but he was so dedicated where he's like telling the director, like, yo, dude, we're going to do this right or we're not going to do it. And he's just like,
that's good.
I can't be in character looking like this.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not a dog catcher. That's a pimp. Like too pristine. You're like a fetid cat.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what you were saying is like, you have
goldfish in my shoes.
You say, that man got goldfish in his shoes. You got to sell it. Like, you really got to sell it. Like, dude, you're either all in or you're not.
Right.
But I mean, I think that goes for like everything. So whether you're sports, you know, whether it's a career, whether you're a parent, whether you're a community member, you know, whether you're just trying to be the best you either got to do it right or you just don't do it.
Go big.
You go big or go home.
Because I believe in it. Literally just getting here, just having to bring my kids, just because it matters to me. Just being heard, being seen, my mission, my purpose, just when I coach, and then really being able to understand now in my 40s how really sharing my story moves the needle. I think that's really what's important. It's a whole movement of women that follow because they need the help and
I literally saw a meme today where it's like, you as a woman, you're looking up to this other woman and you're praising her and you're giving her this and that. And you're like, you know, I mean, you're not so much like idolizing, but you're at least giving that respect and that, you know, appreciation. You know, it's you like, oh my gosh. And it's like, yeah, you need to look down because there's a few other women that are looking up to you saying the same thing. And it's
absolutely.
Like, you're so busy doing your thing that you don't even realize you're like, oh crap, I'm also an influence.
Right.
Every action you have is a pebble in a pond, and the bigger the pebble, you know, the bigger the pond, the bigger the ripple, the more effect. Like you just gotta be throwing big rocks into that. I mean, it's a big ocean at this point. That's a lot of water.
Right.
Is it a sexual reference? Or? Oh, dude.
It's a pebble.
You throw a pebble in my pond anytime.
What are you, a penguin? I actually found this out. So I did trivia for a while. One, for my business, doing it because I didn't have to pay anybody for it. But two, I'm inquisitive and I like to learn things. A male penguin will literally give the female penguin a pebble and just kind of like, hey, you like that pebble? She's like, I do like that pebble. They're like, cool, we're together. And they're literally mating for
He's got to get her a rock. It's always the same story.
Right, dude, that was good, bro.
It's always the same story.
I like that.
I need more than a pebble.
And no,
what if a pebble is the equivalent of like their diamond?
That's what he said.
That's what it
like
is.
their engagement ring.
Because the thing is, like, they might take take 10 years finding that right pebble.
I got the joke.
How many they bring up, and the girl's just like, you caught out a pebble?
Right.
Like, Carl got me a pebble last week. That was bigger than that. That looks more like a.
Try again tomorrow.
That's just a speck. I'm gonna need something.
Work on finding a pebble a little better.
Oh, dude, yeah, but dude, just giving her a rock. I like that, man. That was funny.
Still got to get her a rock,
dude. I love a good dad joke.
I need a big rock.
I mean, like The Rock, like Dwayne the John, because I mean, he's pretty dope.
I can take him too.
Dude, I mean, because I've seen plenty of interviews with him. Like he's like really dope dad, kind of like just good dude.
Yeah, I like him too. And I watched like documentaries with his dad. I just think it's decent.
Yeah, I do. And that to me, like, I don't care how famous you are, celebrity, popular, whatever. How you treat other people, especially like the lower people, like, a janitor and the CEO is just like, bro, I appreciate you. Like when I have restaurants, and we've had this discussion before, my number one employee, like my most favorite employee, the one that I go to for all the information, my dishwasher. And people are like, yo, that's stupid. They're on the bottom.
He's on the streets, man. He knows what's going on.
So here's the deal. My chefs will tell me, oh, I've been selling these plates all night. Servers,
dishwashers
we've been selling these plates all night. Dishwashers like, yeah, all that shit's coming back half eaten. That's not good. So I don't care what my sales are. When I get true input, somebody who's like he said on the streets, it's like somebody who's going to get that raw information.
Right.
That's important. So I mean, dude, I think my cheapest dishwasher at my last restaurant was $12 an hour, and he was fresh. I took him, but I told him, I was like,
did you work your ass off for $12 an hour though these days?
And that's what I told. I was like, here's the deal: $12 is not much, but you're going to bust your hump, and I'm going to respect you probably more than anyone else in this entire place. As well as if you're willing to do this, our chefs will teach you how to cook. We will teach you. We will, and it's just like we're here. And he was like, you got it.
You do that other thing too, where it's like somebody disrespects their area. You're like, yo, man, don't be throwing dishes in here. All right. So him and because we have a history of that. Yeah, absolutely.
Tell the story.
I didn't even realize until I started saying that we had a history with that particular issue because we had a cook who would like, they put those hot plates, the metal plates into the oven
or pans or do anything,
whatever it was, but there was a constant flow of these things
because
because
the baking plates and
every time you'd make like a chicken parm or something like that.
Yeah, veal parm, chicken parm, eggplant parm, anything they need to be and he'd go quick oven cook.
He'd go and plate that dish and just like, he would just like shout as he was throwing it.
No, he wouldn't. he would throw it. And it's like, clang, clang, clang. He's like, coming in hot.
Bro.
I could have used that a second and a half ago and we're literally in the sinks and they're coming in hot. And we're talking out of a 400 plus degree oven hot.
Wow.
He was hazing us the whole entire time. Whole time. However, dude, long story short.
He could flip a pie pretty good though, right?
Yeah, he could. There was one night where he was like being all like machismo or whatever. And he like just punched the walk-in door like Rocky style. Just like, oh, check me out. Hey. Wound up fracturing his wrist.
Wow.
I'm the only person that saw it. He comes back to me like 2 days later after he's like getting his hand all wrapped up and everything else. He's like, hey, Skates. Cause that's my nickname is Skates. Cause I was a skater. I had the big skate pants. I always skated.
You're in my phone that way.
I'm Skates, but he comes to me, he's like, hey, Skates. He's like, the other day, I was just like, yeah, what's that? And he's like, and I was like,
what?
We good, bro. We good. Yeah, dude, from that day forward.
There's something you could put in this hand.
Pretty much, but from that day forward, never gave me any shit. Never once was it like, bing, coming in hot. It was always like, coming in hot. And then he'd throw the plates and it was just like, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's all I want is respect.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to,
he didn't give
you're
us
affording that
respect,
employee.
but we
Like,
gave
this
it to
is your
them.
space. It's your job to keep it clean. And if somebody else infringes on your space, please let me know.
This is my bubble.
Because that's so true. Like, I think a lot of establishment owners probably forget that is that, you know, if a good dishwasher can make or break a good night. You know, like something is that small that like you need to be on your job like that.
Well, all right. So like we used to run out of hot water because we'd be like banging dishes like crazy. Well, so when you get like a hot dishwasher, you pull out the silverware plates, whatever else, they dry really quick because they're really hot. So it's like, shit,
you got to pull them out the minute it's, yeah.
When we had it and it's like cold water, they're still clean because they run through all the detergents and the sanitizers and stuff, but they don't dry. Well, now I got to sit there and hand dry and like buff these things. And it's like, do I still have to do it in the same amount of time it would have been to just pop them in, pull them out, let them sit for a minute. And then
so we just wash them.
Sit there and I mean,
like, fuck it.
He's banging dishes and I'm still sitting there. Just like,
rinse, hot soap, rinse, hot soap, rinse. I'm good. I don't need that thing. It's me up right now.
So, I mean, are you like a one person show or like, I mean, you're like, it's all you and there's like, you don't have any helpers or, I mean.
So what I do right now full time is I own a spa in Delaware. I have one in Philadelphia.
What kind of spa?
And one in Delaware.
No, for real, like what kind of spa? I like being pampered.
No happy endings here.
I like being
no happy
pampered.
endings.
No, I like mani pedis, getting my nails done. Oh.
Not that. But if you want big butt, flat stomach, big lips, I can take care of you.
It's like she knows me or something.
But it's called the Aesthetic Suite. And so that is more so
just nails? Or I mean, do you like do scrubs?
Full body waxing and body contouring. Oh. But no massages, no
cold
facials.
Sculpting or I mean.
Yep. M-Sculpt and cool sculpting.
I'm just thinking 40-year-old version.
40, when he's like getting his chest waxed and stuff. He's like, you look like a man-o-lantern.
Right. I gave plenty of people their first waxes.
Dude,
so
I mean,
I've seen that.
I've got my back waxed. Like, I'm okay with that. I mean, I shave my arms and like my armpits and stuff. Like, dude, most people don't realize this as a man specifically because we have hair on us. One, it's dead protein, but two, because it's dead protein, it absorbs all our like natural funk and it just soaks in. There ain't enough soap in the dude. No, it's marinated. There ain't enough soap or anything in the world to like deep clean. So you know what? Just take that hair out. Now you don't have that thing like sitting there collecting and soaking. It's just like, no, I'm just clean. And because of that, it's like I don't have to use soap a lot. It's like I can actually just take like a steam shower and it all comes off of me. So it's like my skin's a lot more, you know, it maintains its natural oiliness and all that. And
so I got a dirty mouth.
Oh yeah. I feel like that was a loaded question though. I'm be honest.
Yes and yes.
Oh, but yeah, we should probably yeah, we do because we're
shorty this one.
Yeah, you hooked us up, so we're gonna hook you up because especially since we got a couple of cute little ladies that have bedtimes at some point, we got to make sure we take care of them.
Right.
I mean, granted, they'll probably fall asleep on the way home or something, but which I always love. They're back there like, when are we gonna be home? When are we?
Then you got to figure out how to get them out of the car, though.
Those are my two kids.
No, dude. Sometimes you just sit there for an extra 5 minutes and just let them sleep because you're just like, oh my god, the silence is so nice.
Right.
Let them sleep. No, yeah.
I say that every night. Every night.
But yeah, do you want to do emails or do we don't really care?
It's whatever.
All right, we'll save it for the next round. It's all good. Yeah, then I guess for
if they don't know,
if you don't know, you haven't been watching long enough, and then you should
just click on a different video and you'll figure it out.
Push the button. There'll be like a little box that'll just tell you the next video. If you're into this, hey, this is what we like. So it's it's all good. Yeah, we'll do. I mean, so with your stuff, is there an email or a website or not like that?
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah.
So for the Aesthetic Suite, that's the name of my spa. If you are looking for the best wax esthetician on the East Coast, that is me. I am the Aesthetic Suite, TheEsthetiCsuite, the Aesthetic Suite on every social media platform, and then theaestheticsuite.com. theaestheticsuite@gmail.com.
I feel like we needed a beat behind that.
I
Right.
You know, because what popped into my head is we just we switched over. We have our own website and stuff now too. We have our main email, which is what gets all three of us. We taglined the humans. But because the way it's spelled out, I'm like THEHUMANS at ITY.
If you want
it's
to,
like MICKUY, it's just like, man, it's just
if you want to speak to the humans, right?
Yeah. But it's also
Because we're the humans.
Yeah, you want to speak to the humans. A whole time. It's El Chapo right here. He's on the
I know
DL.
I haven't had the chance to see him yet. Is it Pomeranian?
Yep. He's 5.
Okay. Yeah, that's half of my Lucifer.
Yeah, we told her about
He's
Lucifer.
part Chihuahua, part Pomeranian.
Not as hairy, but a lot, just
Wait, how do you say that?
Chihuahua, Chihuahua?
Pomchi.
Pomchi?
Ooh.
Is that the real name that they coined for that?
I don't know, but I like it.
Yeah, that's what it says on his breeding papers. But I got him at a flea market.
Get him in the...
I want to breed a bulldog and a Shih Tzu.
Was it the cop?
We were living in Georgia at the time, and I went to the flea market and I found a puppy, and I was like, "You're coming home with me."
I got puppies in the trunk, but don't tell nobody. two for one. Pay the one, I'll give you a brother. That's not a joke, dude. Oh man, you ain't never been in the comics with me. You don't know.
It's what?
But cool, yeah. Let's finish this. So that fam at home, you know the deal. Hit the button, move on over. But yeah, as always, be good to yourself. Be good to everything else.
Much love.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.